Powell died of complications from COVID-19.
The son of Jamaican immigrants, born in Harlem and raised in the Bronx, he dedicated his entire life to public service. Powell broke barriers over 4 decades, shaping American policy. He was the first black national security advisor under President Reagan. He was the first black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, serving both Presidents George H.W. Bush and Clinton. And he was the first black Secretary of State under President George W. Bush.
Tributes to General Powell can be seen across the country. Flags lowered to half-staff from the Pentagon to the White House to the U.S. State Department. CBS 2's Dick Brennan here now with more on Powell's life and the legacy that he leaves behind. Dick?
Christine and Maurice, what a life it was. He spent 35 years in the Army, was a decorated combat veteran, and would rise to a presidential cabinet position. But Colin Powell was a humble man with roots here in New York City. In a life of service, in war and in peace, reaching the heights in the halls of power, or reaching out to the next generation in school, Colin Powell was old school.
All of us owe something to our country for what our country has given to us, and we can never repay it in full measure. We can only try.
And maybe it was because of where he came from, a modest upbringing in the South Bronx, raised by Jamaican immigrants.
But often, I have people stop me, and they say things like, wow, did you dream when you were growing up that you could become chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff or Secretary of State?
Speaking at his alma mater, City College, in 2015, Powell thought that question was funny.
And I smile and I say very gently, yeah, there I was. I believe I was about 10 years old, and I was standing in the corner of 163rd and Kelly Street in the South Bronx, and I said to myself, "Self, you're going to grow up and become chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the Armed Forces of the United States." Not the way it happened.
Tributes to Powell poured in from around the world, from prime ministers to presidents.
One of our great military leaders and a man of overwhelming decency.
Colin Powell dedicated his extraordinary life to public service because he never stopped believing in America.
And I lost a tremendous personal friend and mentor.
Colin Luther Powell was born on April 5th, 1937. After City College, he joined the Army and served in Vietnam. Later, National Security Advisor, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and Secretary of State. Just 3 months ago, Powell told journalist Bob Woodward that despite his career, he was indeed a reluctant warrior.
I don't like wars. I don't want to be a warrior. But remember the other thing that is well known about me, and that is we go to a war, and I will do everything I can to beat the crap out of somebody and win it.
It was the lead-up to the war in Iraq that Powell said would leave a painful blot on his record. At the UN, he argued for an invasion, but it was based on faulty evidence. Later, he advocated for reforms in the intelligence community.
I'm so proud that I have had this chance to serve my nation.
One of Powell's last public appearances was in late September at City College. Speaking with his daughter, Linda, he grew emotional.
I said, okay, each of you tell me where you're from, where your parents are from, and what's your future. Each one of them, 12, I think, each one of them did that. And
they reminded you of yourself.
The reason I'm crying is I looked at them, and they were me.
Mm-hmm.
And they came from an immigrant background like me. And they came from some borough in the Bronx, and they were smiling. They were happy.
In an interview, Powell described himself as a problem solver. As for his life, Powell said all he wanted to do is judge himself as a successful soldier who served his best. Indeed he did. Christina Maurice.